All join our palms together and we are inviting His Holiness to bestow Buddha Dharma teaching. We pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsang, homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Dzogchen Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the heart emanation of Amitabha, Tathagata of the Western Paradise, the wealth-attracting goddess. And homage to all the deities. Simu Tupten Siddhi Rinpoche and all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, and all disciples present here and over the webcast. Our special guest from the Executive Yuan for the North Coordination Council of North America, Secretary General Daniel Liao, and Mrs. Liao, Dharma Sister Judy, and the Chief Secretary of the Taiwan Government, Mr. Tsang Pei-Fu, and the Councilor of Kaohsiung City, Ms. Xu Hui-yi, and the legislator Tsai Chi-Chang's representative, Ms. Chen Hui-Ming, and from the DPP Party of Tainan Cities, the head, the chair Taiwan Chuan's representative, attorney to the True Buddha Foundation, Mr. Zhou Zhongsen, and the professors group of True Buddha School, the special professor Wang Jingxian, Professor Wang Yaozun, Professor Wang Li, Professor Lin Wenqin, Professor Hong Xin-yi, and Dr. Yo Jiangcheng, Professor Cai Guoyu, Professor Gu Haoxiang, Professor Ye Su-wen, Dr. Liang Cao-fan, Medical Doctor Lin Jun-an, from the Jade Emperor Temple of Taichung, the abbot, Miss Cai Biru and her group, and a senior in His Holiness College, which is now the Vice Chair of the Overseas Chinese Chamber of Commerce of Philadelphia, Mr. Tsang, and the alumni of His Holiness, Mr. and Mrs. Zhu Jingsui, and the President of the Worldwide Lotus Light Charitable Society, Master Tsang, and the President of the Lotus Light Charitable Society of Taiwan, Mr. Wu Guande. From Guam, the PIC Holiday International Travel Services, Ms. Cheng. businessman from Hong Kong, Mr. Lei. The CTI TV Taiwan, the producers for the Gini Tiansang Xingden, Mr. Pekasu. The TV programs, Platform Sutras, and Development Stages of Tantayana. Master Lian Yu, the producer, and the host, Dharma Sister Pei Jun.
My sister, Lu Taiwan. 这里呢，先跟大家讲一个我的学长，这个张孝真先生。
So I want to talk about Mr. Tsang, which is a senior in my class. Oh, he's right there. The last time he was here, he asked for your son and daughter-in-law, and they got married for about 10 years, and they could not bear children. So he asked Grandmaster Lu to bless them and to give him a fu or a charm, talisman. It's effective, of course. And it's been over 10 years they couldn't bear children, and even the doctors had given up. But after they took the fu, Mr. Tsang now told me that they have given birth to a daughter, so his granddaughter. So that's a really auspicious thing. So they don't have children even after over 10 years of marriage, and with one fu or talisman, there's that change. And I don't know how to change that, but a girl was born. And Dharma Sister Pei Jun and Master Lian Yue also not here. So who wrote this? That the Platform Sutra and Development Stages of Tantayana, Master Lian Yue and Dharma Sister Pei Jun both not here. So who registered here? So it's there every week. But they're not here. How could they register themselves? They produced something that's really good, that was really pleasing for me to see. And there's this mark at Buddha school, and then there's this painting, and then it's a painting of Grandmaster and the poem, the verse of Grandmaster. And I found it to be really good, really excellent. So first the mark of Buddha school, and then one of my paintings, and then there's the verse that I wrote. And I really liked it. So thank you. Oh, I forgot to say my greetings. So greetings, everyone. Good afternoon, how do you do? Taiwanese in Mandarin, Japanese Cantonese.
这里有这个尼翁贤谢啊，不，贤谢是老师，他也是 master， 应该是可以讲得通的。
Yeah. So Sensei is teacher, but he's a master, so that's okay. Ishikawa, son. That's his Japanese name.
Good afternoon. 这是午安。你好。
That's good afternoon in Cantonese. Thank you very much. And someone spoke Sawadika. Now I return the greeting in Thai. Sawadika. From the Nixing chapter of Thailand. They are here. So Sawadika for Thai.
And today is a nice day. Little bit cold, no cold, and no hot. No cold, no hot. It's a nice day. Beautiful day, beautiful day. Because the money woman coming. Money woman coming. All money coming home. 高才天女。
So this wealth-attracting goddess is money woman, and also Selamat Siang, Selamat Petang, Indonesian and Malay, and Selamat Ulang Tahun, Happy Birthday.
那天师母没有来。
The other day, Sumu wasn't here, so Sumu, Selamat Ulang Tahun, which is Happy Birthday.
另外呢 ，Hola, amigo, Hola, amigo.
In Spanish.
如果是葡萄牙语，我会跟大家讲，少几。
And in Portuguese, saúde.
健康，健康就是
That's to health.
葡萄牙语叫
That's in Portuguese, saúde.
有人会懂得葡萄牙语吗
Anyone understands Portuguese?
没有啊。
No one here.
只有我会讲。
So I'm the only one.
감사합니다. 然后我们这个每一次这个拿贡品的法师当中有一个是韩国，
And among the monks that present the offerings here is from Korea, Reverend Lian Xiang.
心里有一个准备啊，你将来要当上师啊。
So please be prepared that one day you would become a master.
还有一位唱诵很好的
And also
法师
the Reverend Lian Yi, who do the chanting really well. Reverend Lian Yi,
将来要当上师。
please be prepared that in the future you would become masters.
我在这里祈求。
So here I pray that the wealth, that this wealth-attracting goddess Homa today would bestow to the businessmen and entrepreneurs that present here today, give them lots of business and orders so that their factories and businesses would have lots of money coming, so that they have great business. Also would like to wish anyone with small businesses or medium businesses that when they open the store, or it's the sutra of leaving, like opening the door.
Open door. I go outside, sell something, 卖东西，sell something。开门经，我以前是怎么讲的？这个
How did I say the sutra?
路徛就见到观世音，路徛就见到观世音。
So as I open the door in front of the steps, I see Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, they are all Buddhas, and Buddhas. Then all my items are sold. So that's the sutra for opening your business. So I hope that all your businesses are good. And not only that business is good, business is very good.
Economy is good.
That the economy is good.
然后我们今天讲这个，就是做勾财天女的父母。
So today we had the Homa of the money woman.
这个天上的财富。
So we pray that she would hook the divine wealth and bestow them to us, and that she can hook so that all of our wishes are fulfilled. That she can hook health, great health for us, and she could hook all that we wish for us, and that she could hook all the Bardo spirits to be reborn into the pure Buddha lands, and that she can hook away all of our karma, and so that our karmic sicknesses can all be hooked away and gone. So this is the wealth attracting goddess that was emanated from the heart of Amitabha. And the mudra is the hook mudra, as I formed earlier, the Vajra hook. One hand in the fist, and the other hand's fist is holding the other index finger, and then form a hook. This is the Vajra hook mudra. And her look is very simple. One hand is holding a Vajra hook, and this other hand is holding a treasure mouse. And the body is in deep red, 16-year-old girl. And the natural breast, a 16-year-old girl with the natural breast. And a very beautiful, dignified ornaments, outfit, very young, beautiful, and gorgeous, 16-year-old. That's why I said that she's the mistress of Amitabha Buddha. there was a student that's in the 2nd grade in elementary school, and she told the teacher, I want to go to the 4th grade directly. How come you haven't been to the 3rd grade? And the student replied, because I don't want to be the 3rd, which is like the little 3rd in Chinese means the 3rd party in a marriage, which is the mistress. So pay homage to the Buddha Mother that's bestowing wealth, that through the immeasurable good deeds we would be able to that you gain the great wealth and good virtues that the female Buddha practice and bestow wealth. And I pay homage to the Buddha Mother that bestow wealth. As I said, like this goddess, she doesn't have to do push-ups, and the benefit for women, they would have the bust line, but they would have muscles on their chest. But for men, it's really hard to train to be able to develop their chest muscles, and also the triceps and the biceps, and also the muscles at the back and in the abdomen, and also this. The men have to train to develop those, and Grandmaster too train every single day, just like my spiritual cultivation. I train every day. So last night, the Secretary General from NAACC and Dharma Sister Judy visited my place, and after shower I came out and I was wearing t-shirt and my lama skirt. And spontaneously, because Secretary General Liao said that his body now is very good, and because he trained and exercised his physical body and also his inner energy. So I asked him, so how is your condition now? Not bad. I developed my chest muscles. And I thought, I never show my chest muscles to anyone. And also for my bust line, and also my the back muscles. So spontaneously, so with the spontaneous act, I took off my t-shirt, and then I asked Secretary General Liao and Dharma Sister Judy to see that, right? And then I took a look at myself in the mirror. Wow, I still look like the Navy.
70岁，怎么搞的？还有挖人的身材呢？
So I look like the. Basically, I was in a really good shape, even when I'm 70.
我觉得青春不留白。
So I thought that when I reach 70, that I don't have any youth left with me.
不然不是忘会了我吗？忘会了我70岁。
But you know, I am 70. I have to show off what I've got. If I don't show it now, when would I have the chance to show it off? Like when I'm buried, no one would have ever seen it then. But the chief secretary said, "You're not 70. You're only 16." Right. I have said that the chief secretary was 17, so now I'm 16. And this goddess, this money goddess, is only 16.
So beautiful.
And she's so beautiful.
So beautiful, Musume.
I have to keep her. I'm also 16. And this money goddess is also 16. So I need to train myself and develop my muscle like this money goddess. So, Tsang, do you want to step out and show everyone? If you dare, then I would do it. There's no need to wait till May 18. I cannot wait that long. So, Tsang, it's okay. This does not affect. There's no problem for men to show off to bare their chest. Because all the policemen now is at the legislative house because there's a demo there. So it's okay, the policemen not around. So Tsang, do you want to show it off? Because you also do some fist exercise, Tai Chi Chuan. The Chen style. My Tai Chi is the yang style. So we have to see whether the Chen style is better or the yang style is better, right? So take off your clothes and just treat everyone as stones, and then you can act as if you're in the bathroom, in the shower. Tsang is the senior monk, so we should respect him. If he doesn't dare to do it, then I wouldn't. So this money goddess can bestow auspiciousness and fulfill all wishes. Is really great. And the red Jambala Ganapati is also really good deity. So last week we expound the Ganapati, and the primary supplicants were only 80, and today it doubled. How many? 2 times 8 is 16, and 2 times 7? 14. Or 2 times 9 is 18. So there are about 180 people, 180 primary supplicants for the Homa today. Now it's not just equality between men and women. Now it's women win over the man. Look, this money goddess wins over Ganapati. Everyone likes women. The woman also like women, and the man also like women. So for this money goddess Homa, there are many primary supplicants. That's really excellent. There was a Dharma, there's a disciple from Singapore that asked me a question. And he asked this question. Grandmaster had expounded Mahamudra and also the Great Perfection Dharma. And Grandmaster also said that the end result of Mahamudra and Great Perfection is the same. They both can attain the rainbow light attainments. And Grandmaster also specified that there are similarities and there are also differences in their practice. So is that disciple here today? He said he was about to go back to Singapore. So anyone that was present then, that had dinner together, that is here. So Master Lian Fu. So now I would like to teach between Mahamudra and Great Perfection Dharma. What's the similarities and what's the differences? So they are different, but they came from the same origin. So the karma pa, so the lineage for the Kagyupa, the white sack, it's from Vajradhara, and that's the primordial Buddha, the Adi Buddha. And from the Nyingmapa is the same, from the Adi Buddha, which is Samantabhadra Tathagata. Actually, these three deities are the same deity. And in Mahamudra, it was transmitted to the Bao Yu youth and the Bao Sang youth, which is the precious mind and the supreme precious youth that are Padmakumaras, and then transmitted to Saroha, which is a adept in Tantrayana. And from the 1st century in India, there was the Mahamudra already existed since the 1st century in India. And then it was transmitted all the way to Niguma. And Niguma is the sister of Tilopa, a Dakini Niguma, to the 11th century at the time of Tilopa. Tilopa transmitted the Mahamudra to Naropa. Actually, the first Mahamudra that entered, that brought it to Tibet is Atisha. Atisha learned it in the Java island in Jambi and learned a lot of Buddha Dharma from Dharmakirti or Salingpa, and then went and returned to India and then went to Tibet, and he brought Mahamudra with him. And there was a doctor, a medical doctor, or a translator, that comprehended Mahamudra, and I'll call him Pomi. And at that time Marpa was studying Buddha Dharma at this Pomi, Master Pomi. And Marpa asked for the sadhana from Pomi, and this Pomi did not approve. And Marpa was very rich, so he brought lots of gold and went directly to India and to seek for the disciple of Tilopa, Naropa. So he went 3 times, and he made a lot of offerings of gold to Naropa, and Naropa transmitted Mahamudra to Marpa. So in Tibet, the first lineage guru of the Kagyupa is Marpa. So Marpa is the Tibetan first patriarch of Kagyupa. And for great perfection Dharma, the lineage is from Adibuddha, transmitted to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So the great perfection Dharma to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and then to Vajrasattva, and then to Vajrapani. And then transmitted to Samhaldak, which is the celestial noble heart prince, and then transmitted to Prahivajra, and then Manjusri Mitra. So Prahivajra is the first patriarch in the human world that transmitted it to Manjusri Mitra, and then transmitted to Sri Singha, and then Sri Singha transmitted to Guru Padmasambhava and to Vairochana. So there are 2 lineages, Guru Padmasambhava and Vairochana. And Padmasambhava entered into Tibet, and Vairochana was also Tibetan. So there were 2 lineages. And Guru Padmasambhava transmitted to King Tresong Tetchen, the Zambu, the king transmitted to Ishi-Chokar, his Buddha mother. That's the lineage for great perfection. And Vairochana has Vairochana's lineage. And great perfection Dharma is from Guru Padmasambhava to King Tresong Tetchen to Ishi-Chokar. And then later on, Longchen Pa combined the 2 lineages. That's the lineage for the great perfection Dharma. So the lineages are different for these 2 different Mahamudra and great perfection. One day, Xiao Tai asked his mom, why when you call on the previous president, this is a play of word Chinese, it's like Tsang Kai said it's like the the former or actually the deceased. So we all have lineage from granddad, grandma, father, mother, and then we are, and then daughters, sons. So that's the same as a lineage. So everyone has a different lineage, and some have the same lineage, but it's different. So the lineage is different between Mahamudra and Great Perfection. And what's different is that in Mahamudra there are 4 levels. There are 4 levels in Mahamudra practices. The first level is the concentration yoga. The second level is the renunciation yoga. And the third level is the one-taste yoga. And the fourth level is the yoga of no practice. You have to go step by step, so you get into it gradually. First, you learn about concentration, because with concentration you would be able to enter into meditation. Concentration is the foundation of all practices. So with concentration, you would succeed in your Dharma practices. So that's the first level. The second level is you abandoning all the play or the games. So you renunciate all the non-enlightenment practices. So you don't practice the worldly Dharma, but you leave behind all the worldly things. And the third level is the one-taste yoga, that you have merged with your Buddha nature, so you're of one taste. So the yoga of one taste. And then the next level is the yoga of no practice. So it is the practice of no practice. Although you don't practice, you're always in meditation. So the no practice is the practice. So that's the development stages or the steps in Mahamudra. They go step by step, and for Great Perfection Dharma, it's different. So what is different? It's a little bit like Zen. In Zen, you're pointing directly to the mind, and as soon as you realize the nature, you immediately become a Buddha. So as long as you recognize the mind, you cut directly to the attainment. When the Guru pointed to you what the mind, the human mind is, and when you see the Buddha nature, then you would be able to attain Buddhahood. So that's the power of Great Perfection Dharma. It doesn't ask you to do this or that practice first, but it lets you understand the enlightenment, and after the enlightenment you start the practice. It is similar to the Zen Buddhism, with the direct pointing to the mind, and you attain Buddhahood directly. So in Mahamudra, you have to go step by step, and in Great Perfection, you go directly to gain enlightenment and then to start the practice after enlightenment. That's the Great Perfection Dharma. Those are the differences between Great Perfection and Mahamudra. So the son saw a monkey and said, "Oh, the monkey looks like dead." And the mom told the son, "You cannot say that, that's an insult." And then the son said, "Well, but the monkey wouldn't understand anyway. What's the big deal?" In Great Perfection Dharma, you need to have a very strong will. And in Mahamudra, you need to go step by step. So those who practice great perfection, you have to have a very strong spiritual root. So in Great Perfection Dharma, you need to know what is the Chiche. And Chiche means understanding your own mind. That's enlightenment. And for Mahamudra, it doesn't ask you to understand your own mind. So those are the differences. So that means that their realizations are different. So in Great Perfection Dharma, the principle, the concept is that we are the Buddhas, and the Buddhas have no beginnings and no endings. That I am originally was a Buddha, everyone was a Buddha, and we become Buddha directly. It's not training from a human being to become a Buddha. So everything that's spoken is mantra. The place that I live in is the palaces of the Buddhas. All my conducts and behaviors, my movements are that of the Buddhas. My behavior, my conducts are that of the Buddhas. That's how the Great Perfection Dharma is. So the concept or the realization is different. So for Mahamudra, in the beginning, we start from human beings, just mundane beings, not like the Great Perfection Dharma. We want to gradually eliminate our senses and desires and afflictions and habitual tendencies. So afflictions, habitual tendencies, karma from many previous lives have to be eliminated before we would be able to see our own Buddha nature. But for great perfection, the afflictions also Buddha nature, habitual tendencies also Buddha nature. So we make function, or we use the habitual tendencies and the afflictions. So the outlook are different. So there are two drunkards that's drinking together, and one said, "Oh, I'm really in disaster. My wife took all my money away and left." "Oh, you're still luckier. You know, my wife, she took all my money and she's still here." So they're different. One, she took all and left, and the other one, she took all and stayed. So that's really suffering. So that's why he drank every day. So that's not a joke like this. There's a husband that stood on top of a building about to jump, committing suicide, and the policeman yelling at him like, "Oh, you can't die like that. Life is precious. Why do you want to die?" And the man said, "2 years ago, my wife left with another man." And the policeman thought, "So that was 2 years ago. Why did you want to jump off the building now?" And then the man said, "Because that man told me that my wife is coming back. And this is even worse suffering." And when the wife left, oh, so glad. It turned out that she's coming back. So he'd rather die than live. So he wanted to commit suicide. So these are two different cases. So the insight of Mahamudras in great perfection, everything is Buddha. Everything about me is Buddha. My habitual tendencies, my afflictions, everything is Buddha. This is great perfection Dharma. And the other one said, I need to cut off my afflictions, I need to cut off my habitual tendencies in order to see my Buddha nature, and only this time the Buddha would appear when I see my own Buddha nature. And I need to cut off all the obstructions first. So in great perfection Dharma it's different. And the Dharma practice is also different. The third level empowerment is different. That's the highest yoga tantra. That's different. In the Kagyupa of Tibetan Buddhism, they are in the opinion that they need to use the karma mudra. Because the karma mudra, you would be able to ignite the inner fire, and with the inner fire, you would be able to see the lights. And by having the inner fire, you would be able to melt the light drops. And then without the karma mudra, it is very difficult to melt the light drops. So in Mahamudra, Kagyupa, they are in the opinion to use the karma mudra in order to ignite inner fire, to melt the light drops, to open the heart chakra, to see the Buddha nature. That's the method of Mahamudra. And in great perfection Dharma, they're different. Their Dharma practices is they don't need the karma mudra. They don't need the karma mudra. Just use the visualization to let the light drops drip, to ignite the inner fire. With the complete breathing, to ignite the inner fire. That's the practice of the great perfection Dharma. They don't need the karma mudra. So the methods of their Dharma practices are different on the third level empowerments. And the most important thing in the great perfection Dharma is dog. Dog is seeing the lights. And I have said this, using the lion posture to gaze at the sunlight at sunrise and sunset, and use the sage posture to gaze at the electrical light, and use the elephant posture to gaze at the sunlight, moonlight, and the electrical or lamp light. The three kinds of lights. And you absorb the lights into your heart. Even when you don't gaze at the light, you still have light. And you accumulate the lights and transform it to become the rainbow light. And you transform your own physical body to become rainbow light by gazing at the light, absorbing the light into your body, and so that your body would have light. That's the practice of dog in the Great Perfection Dharma. Dog of the Dzogchen, dog. So between Mahamudra and Great Perfection, there are similarities and differences. It's a little bit like this joke. A minister and a bus driver are gone to heaven. And after the judgment, the bus driver went to heaven. And the minister fall into hell. And the minister felt the injustice and was very angry and complained to God. God, all my life I dedicate my life to the church, and now how come I fell into hell? The bus driver violated the traffic rules, and how come he went to heaven? And God tapped on his shoulder and said, "Son, when you preach, the audience fall into sleep. That's why you fall into heaven. But when the bus driver drive, the passengers were really scared. That's why they all prayed. That's why he went to heaven." So Mahamudra is like that. It's a little bit like that. And the Great Perfection is like the bus driver. And the Mahamudra is like the minister, a little bit, not completely. Because in Mahamudra you can also have the attainment of rainbow light, the same in Great Perfection. So it's just slightly like that. So Li and Wang were just chatting and talk about time flies. That things that's really happy we're happy about is celebrating the children's holiday and then youth holiday and then the elderly holiday, and then another 10 years they would be celebrating Memorial Day. So that's the gradation. So Grandmaster now is 70 years old. So what kind of holiday am I celebrating? Still the child's festival. 16, that should be the youth festival. How come it's child festival? That's fun. So that's gradation, gradually. So the Confucius said that when in the morning you heard the true Dharma and you comprehend the Tao, or if you're close to Tao, or even if you attain the Tao, then you can die at night. That's Great Perfection Dharma. So when you hear the Tao in the morning, you could die at night. But in Mahamudra, first you celebrate the child festival, and then the youth festival, and then the Father's Day, and then the senior day, and then the Memorial Day, before you attain the Tao. So great perfection is faster. But in Mahamudra, you have to go step by step.
这个美国总统啊，一时兴起要造访一个精神医院。
The American president wanted to visit a mental hospital, and then the head of the hospital said when the president arrived, they all have to clap to show their welcome. So when the president arrived, they all clapped, and the president was very pleased. And then the president asked the head of the hospital, "How come you didn't clap?" And the doctor, the psychiatrist said, "But I'm not a mental patient. Why did I want to clap? Only the mental patients would clap." So the head of the hospital is like the great perfection practitioner, and the mental patients are the Mahamudra practitioners. Well, I cannot say that. Otherwise, the Kakyupa followers would reprimand me. A disciple saw this and wanted me to say this. A patient said, "I cannot fall asleep for 3 nights." And the doctor said, "Let me give you pills. The red one let you dream about like a singer, a famous singer. And the white one, let you dream about the model, and another yellow one, dream about the beautiful." And the patient said, "Oh, can I just take them all together?" And the doctor said, "Then you would be able to see Cao Ling Feng." It's also another celebrity in Taiwan, but already passed away. So if you take all 3 together, then you're great perfected. But if you take it one by one, then you're Mahamudra. If you would be able to see Cao Ling Feng, that means you're already gone to Western paradise. Isn't that not good? You have to take all 3 together. If you go one by one, sometimes Xi Ruoxian, sometimes Li Zilin, sometimes Cai Yiling, all the different celebrities, that's too slow. There's a couple that is celebrating their birthdays. They're both 60. And all of a sudden an angel appeared. "So I wish you a happy 60th birthday. Make a wish." And the wife said, "I want to travel around the world." And the angel said, "Okay." And all of a sudden, in her hand, she has the tickets for traveling around the world. And the angel asked the husband, "What is your wish for the 60-year-old? Will you really fulfill the wish?" And the angel said, "I never regret it." And the husband said, "I wish I would be able to embrace a woman 60-year-old 30 years younger than me." And then immediately he became 90 years old. So this husband is great perfection. Immediately he wanted to end his life. Immediately he walked to the end of his life. The speed is fast, and Mahamudra is slower. The wife starts from this country one by one and to travel around the world. And Even when she finished her travel around the world, she has not reached 90 years old. She had to stay for a long time before she reached 90. So which one is better? Mahamudra or great perfection? In my opinion, they're all good. Om Mani Padme Hum.